You clicked on this video today because you want to know what the number one opportunity that real estate agents in your local market are missing. And that opportunity is leasing. I know, not fun, not the sexiest thing, not amazing, a lot of work for not a lot of money, right? Wrong. You as a real estate agent should be looking to lease more apartments, especially if you just got into the business, especially if you're not making a lot of money, if you're not seeing a lot of reoccurring revenue in your business, you should be looking to rent more apartments. And I have a couple points why. The first thing that I want to say is go into Zillow. Filter the for sale by owners versus the for rent by owners. These are essentially unrepresented leads in your market, landlords or sellers who are opportunities to represent. So you're going to see probably, if you're in a small mid-market, 20 to 50 for sale by owners in that market. You know what I mean? That's 20 opportunities for you to get a listing. Although, if you look at a for rent by owner on Zillow, there's probably hundreds of them. I mean hundreds of them who do not have representation, who may need it. They may not want to rent their apartment. They may not want to do the showings. They may not have the time. They may not have the resources. And, you as a real estate agent probably are going to market it better. And on top of that, you're going to get it done quicker than they ever could. You know what I mean? You probably have the resources to get it done a lot quicker, a lot easier, and a lot better. So, that's the first thing. The next thing that I want to say is through getting clients in house sales versus rentals, the people who buy and sell a house, the average churn rate on a client like that, so like when they call you back for the next sale, is probably like 2 to 10 years. Okay, so you might be waiting 10 years for your client that you sold something to last year to come back to you and ask you for another, representation. But landlords, especially the larger ones, they might have a portfolio of 10, 20, 50, 100, 300, 500, 700 apartments that they need to get rented. And within that, they will see, recurring vacancies. And if you get in a position where you can help these landlords out exclusively to rent their apartments, you can see, the churn rate is way, I don't even know what it would be considered, like lower, you know what I mean? Like these people are coming back to you sometimes week over week, month over month, day over day to rent more apartments. They have more vacancies and they're calling you. So the churn rate on clients, I think it would be considered lower. You know what I mean? I might be wrong. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but the churn rate is lower. You know what I mean? So you're going to go out there and you're going to work with a landlord client who probably is going to call you back. Even if the tenant that you rented to them for a year decides not to renew, they're going to call you back next year. You know what I mean? That's better than 2 years. That's better than 10 years. So think about that. Next thing I want to say is doing rentals at volume. Obviously, yeah, renting one apartment, 2 apartments, like, yeah, if you collect an average 1 month's rent commission of $1,000, you're making whatever, $1,000, $2,000 a month. But like I said, the amount of opportunities for rent by owners in your market is way higher than for sale by owners. So say you represent 10 landlords at an average 1 month's rent commission of $1,000. That's $10,000 in 1 month. You know what I mean? And if you have this low churn rate, people are calling you back month over month, double that, triple that, quadruple that. That's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month that you could be making as a real estate agent renting apartments. The next thing that I want to say is a lot of real estate agents will turn a blind eye to renting apartments because it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. And that's totally true. Okay. Like I've been there, done that. I see it every single day. Although the competition of real estate agents in this niche kind of market is way lower. You reach out to a landlord for representation on their apartment, you're probably one of maybe even 0 or 1 or 2 real estate agents that reaches out to them and reaches out to them in any single way and asks them if you can, help represent them on their apartment. But look at it like somebody who's trying to sell their house. I mean, A for sale by owner probably gets, tons of solicitations, knocks on the door, letters in the mail, calls on the phone, all these things. You're probably one of 50, 70, 100 real estate agents in your local market that are bothering these sellers to represent them on a for sale by owner. You know what I mean? So the competition is way lower. And you know what that means in business. Low competition, that means there's a lot of inventory for you to pick up and sell. So that's the next thing I want to say. I don't even remember what the next point I had was. Oh yeah, client size. Did I already say that? I'm going to say it again. If you start working with large scale landlords and they have 5, 7, 1,000 apartments, you know what I mean? That is month over month, day over day opportunities. I did already say this, for you to go out there and get a listing. You know what I mean? House sale clients, unfortunately, they're calling you back every 2 to 10 years. You know what I mean? So that's that. Last thing, systems. When you are representing a landlord to rent apartments, it is hard, okay? You're picking through applications, you're working with fair housing standards, you're setting credit limits, you're setting income limits, and you have to stick by those as per fair housing standards, right? Although, if you can make a system and make processes to renting apartments, you essentially can build a leasing business. Like a whole business, right? With recurring revenue, reoccurring clients that is, building up time over time because you are the agent in your local market that's renting apartments at volume. So once you learn, hey, I can make 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 per month renting apartments, and you start hiring out more and more people, you can build a leasing business. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as well. It's very easy to build a leasing business. And once you get good at it, people are going to notice that you're the person that's renting a ton of apartments in your local market, right? So people are going to love that. People are going to enjoy having that go-to person to call. Hey, what should I price this rental at? Like, be open to answering these questions because these people could be clients down the road. And even if they're not, like, well, what's a hurt to help somebody here and there? You know what I mean? So yeah, for the sake of keeping this video short, that's really the main things. But the biggest opportunity that you real estate agents are not looking into is renting apartments for these reasons that I talked about. And it's funny, you know what I mean? Because real estate agents, the average real estate agent makes like $50,000 or $55,000 a year. Look it up on Google. And 90% of real estate agents fail in their first 3 years because they can't make money for any reason. But I will tell you, it is a world of a lot easier to find 10 rental clients than it is to find 10 house sale clients. So go out there, rent some apartments as a real estate agent. I'm not saying that you have to give up selling houses as a real estate agent, but use it as some supplemental income in the meantime. I mean, we're on commission only, bro. You know what I mean? So go out there, rent some apartments, make some quick cash in between selling these houses. And then next thing you know, you sell a house, you sell 2 houses next month, you make 6, 7 grand doing that. You make 10, 15, 20 doing apartment rentals. It's like, now you're making $30, $40, $50,000 a month. You know what I mean? And who doesn't like the sound of that? So with all that being said, subscribe to my channel for more videos. I have a couple things that I talk about on my channel, motivational stuff, personal development. Now we're inching into the real estate. Essentially, I'm just trying to come up with, these topics that I kind of stick to talk about in my videos so that you guys kind of can understand and know, what you're coming back for. But if you're interested in my real estate content, let me know. If you're interested in my personal development content, let me know. If you're interested in my business content, let me know. My entrepreneurship content, let me know. I love to make these kinds of videos. They make me so happy, especially when people talk about it in the comments about how much it helped, how it's helping change their lives. That is really what this channel is all about, is to help people, help you grow. You know what I mean? Me personally, 2-3 years ago, I was making absolutely no money. I, didn't have a business. I didn't have any business contacts, but today I built a multiple 6-figure business through leasing. And, I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot in these last couple of years, and I want to share that with you. And I hope that I could help you, in any journey, whether that's a business, a real estate, an entrepreneurship journey that you're in, a personal development real estate or personal development journey that you're in as well. So with all that being said, I won't blab any longer. I hope this video helped you today. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I make new videos every day. And leave a comment down below if this video helped you. And please leave a like to help the YouTube algorithm and help me grow my channel. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.